Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Good, I hope. Someone wanted me to make a review of the and I have no idea where to start. Like legitimately, I I I I I, I don't know where to start, dude. there's there's so many. There's so many. There's the mass produce unit. There's units that were made for specific things like commanding, building, and it's just like you guys want me to react to all of them or what? Because I don't mind if I have the time. I legitimately don't mind. There's just so many. What the frick was Xeon thinking making so many of these units? I just okay. Let's because I, I just wasn't expecting all this crazy stuff, guys. It's like holy crap.
Even though the Zaku 1 was the first combat-ready mobile suit that also saw actual combat, the Xeon High Command was still not satisfied.
Yeah,
In
I can
order to
tell.
compete with the Federation's numerical superiority, an even more powerful machine was needed. Originally planned as the MS-05C Zaku 1, the unit instead became the MS-06 Zaku 2, retro.
That one's kind of cool. I like the colors. I know you're probably. I mean, you guys, if you actually ever watch many of my videos, you kind of know I like saying that a lot, but it's true. Design wise, when it comes to stuff like this, I like colors and sometimes poses and stuff, but
Actively
this
known
one
as
was
the
kind of nice.
MS-06A Zaku 2 first mass production type. True to
I
its
can
nature,
tell.
it wasn't a radical departure from the Zaku 1,
It
but
really
still
isn't.
enough to be classified as a whole new suit. The armor was overhauled and improved, the thrusters were upgraded for better mobility, the sensors were enhanced, and it was outfitted
Excuse
with a
me.
more powerful Minovsky reactor, which now also required external power pipes. The original color scheme was the same as that of the Zaku 1, but this was only meant as a demonstration paint job and would later be changed to the now iconic Zaku Green. Additionally, a more colorful blue and white version, known as a full production version, was used by the Instructor Corps in Site 3. When it came to the weapons, it still used the same 105mm machine gun and initial type bazooka as the Zaku 1, but a rack was added with extra ammo. Completed in August of Universal Century 0077, the machine quickly entered mass production. But after around 90 units were made, it was halted by Cecilia Zabi. She feared that the Federation would also produce mobile suit-like weapons, meaning that the Zaku 2 needed anti-mobile suit capabilities. This prompted the development of the Heat Hog, a mobile suit-sized tomahawk with a superheated blade. Additionally, new armor was developed for the shoulders. On the left shoulder pauldron, spikes
Oh,
were
that's
added
where
for
that
better
came
routing
from.
performance,
Okay.
and the right shoulder pauldron was replaced by a shield for better defensive capabilities. This so-called C-type also featured better avionics, a more user-friendly cockpit that was easier to get in and out, and radiation shielding that allowed it to carry out nuclear strikes. The first prototype was completed in September, and it was formally adapted as Xeon's mainstay mobile suit in January of Universal Century 0078. This was also when the production lines were completely shifted from the A-type to the C-type. And with the introduction of the C-type, we also see the traditional Zaku 2 weapons appearing for the first time. The 120mm Zaku machine gun and the 280mm Zaku bazooka. It is believed that of the 98 types produced, 60 would later be upgraded to C-types. These included the machines used by Johnny Ryden and Ian Graydon. Two other units
Johnny
were built by
Ryden.
Zeonic
I've
and
heard
used to
that name
develop the
before.
MS-06J Zaku 2 ground type and the MS-06S Zaku 2 commander type. The remaining suits would either be used for spare parts
There's a
or
pink
as
one,
training
like a
units,
pinkish red one. I
serving
like
as a
that
start for
color.
many future Xeon aces, like Shar Aznable and the Black Tri-Stars. It also became commonplace for trainee pilots to carve their name into the seat of their training Zaku after graduating. When the one-year war broke out on the 3rd of January, Universal Century 0079, it would be these pilots and their C-types that cemented the legendary but equally infamous legacy of the Zaku 2. On the one hand, they reigned supreme on the battlefield, heralding the age of mobile suits and their aces. But at the same time, it was with these machines that Xeon executed Operation British. Proven in battle, the C-type would soon receive another update that would make it last for most of the war. After its bloody opening, the Federation and Zeon signed the Antarctic Treaty, banning all nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. This meant that the heavy radiation shielding of the C-type was now useless. The removal of this, along with some other small tweaks, resulted in the lighter and more nimble F-type, with the first units already rolling off the production line on the 15th of January. These were then rushed to the front lines to participate in the first drop operations on Earth. And according to anecdotal evidence, everything had to go so fast that crews were still working on these F-types to make them suitable for Earth use as HLVs were about to enter the atmosphere. Even the pilots themselves were helping with tasks such as applying anti-slip rubber mats to the cockpit hatch. Putting aside this rushed start, the F-Type was a defining model of the Zaku, and it became the most produced suit of the war with many variations, upgrades, and customized versions. One of the most striking ones was the Dozel Zabi Custom. Sporting a very ornate gold trim, a custom commander antenna, a custom heat hog, a spike pauldron on the right shoulder instead of a shield, and some more spikes on the hands for good measure. And he would frequently use this machine to carry out so-called battlefield inspections, which then turned into impromptu raids on Federation bases, along with his friend and bodyguard Shin Matsunaga. But with the Federation's mobile suits slowly appearing on the battlefield, and even Zeon beginning to field newer machines, the Zaku 2 was in need of another upgrade. And so halfway to war, the F2 was developed. The biggest upgrades were extra armor on the chest, reduced weight, and a slightly more powerful reactor that made the F2 more on par with the standard RGM-79 GIM. Along with it, new equipment was also introduced. Solid rocket boosters could be attached to the backpack for a short boost in thrust, the old 120mm Zaku machine gun was overhauled and now also featured a grenade launcher, and a 90mm machine gun was introduced. Its lower caliber allowed for greater firing speed and better penetration. Many F-types would be converted to F2s during the war, and even after the war many would continue to see service, either with Zeon Remnant groups or with the Federation. But a lot of non-upgraded F-types were also still out there, and just as the F2 types,
I like the blue one.
Remnant groups. Although the F-types would usually be customized to make them more on par with modern machines. One example of this was the Zaku 2 Stutzer, which was equipped with a pair of winch units. These things had a wire-guided arm each, and also mounted a Gelgoog's beam rifle that was powered by a sub-generator on the back. But back to the one-year war now. In its closing days, one final attempt was made to create an upgraded mass-production Zaku, the MS-06FZ Zaku 2 Kai. Rather than being another incremental upgrade, this was a complete overhaul under the United Maintenance Plan, an attempt to standardize as many mobile suit parts as possible to ease production. In short, the Zaku 2 Kai was the best general-purpose Zaku 2 around. It had better thrust, it used the lighter and more durable titanium ceramic composite armor, its mobility was improved, and it had 3 hand grenades as standard equipment. The only downside was that because of its high performance, operation time was cut in half when compared to the regular F-type. Unfortunately, because it was introduced so late into the war, almost no machines made it to the front line and even less survived it. Still, for its short lifespan, 2 variants are known to have existed, the normal Zaku head version and the B-type, which had a head modeled after the German Stahlhelm. One final thing that should be mentioned here is the Skyure. This weapons platform with a giant beam cannon mounted on it was designed to be operated by Zeon mobile suits, and in practice this meant that during the one-year war it was most often manned by a Zaku 2. The power of the beam cannon was second to none, and it was also one of the 2 only beam weapons that the Zaku 2 could use, the other one being the beam bazooka that is most often linked to the beam bazooka. There is still one mass production Zaku 2 variant that we haven't covered yet, the MS-06J Zaku ground type. But just like the F-type, the J-type has a lot of variants and developments. So
no, that seriously sounds amazing. A beam bazooka. Oh, Lord. I don't know, I just think it's freaking funny when I hear things like that. It sounds so nuts, but at the same time, it's amazing. I too would like a beam bazooka.
Instead of ramming it all into this video, we'll be having a look at the ground Zakus next time. If you enjoyed this episode of Gundam Development History, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more similar content. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope all of you watching have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.
Alright, guys, if you like this kind of content, do like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if there's any other freaking Zaku units you want me to react to, because, like I said, I was generally shocked at how many they had. Like, I mean, I kind of figured that out since it's since when it said mass-produced unit, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be more, isn't there? But then when I actually saw the number, I'm like, holy moly, that is a butt ton. Little, very, very big butt ton, chat. Why do I keep playing? I'm too used to streaming, guys. If you hear me say chat, it's because I'm too used to. Anyway, if you want me to react to any more Zaku 2s, please do let me know in the comments section. As well as the fact that, yeah, if you guys want to support me, I could really use as much help as I can get. Kind of in the red right now, mostly because I had to buy some glasses and the doctors and the thing I talked about in the other video. But yeah, if you guys want to support me, that'd be great. If not, I completely understand. Love you guys. I'll see you all later, okay? Alright, guys, bye. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I was kind of reading something. So yeah, guys, bye-bye. Take care, okay? Bye. Love you guys. Bye.